Nunes is an ardent supporter of Donald Trump, and he will toe any line Donald Trump wants him to. And right now, he is advocating for investigations on certain individuals that Donald Trump doesn't like. In fact, I'll let you hear from him yourselves. Take a look.
There's a good op-ed today in the Journal basically saying, look, if Mueller did not look at the perpetrators, if you don't get to the perpetrators, the fact that they started an investigation into Donald Trump based on nothing, based on no predicate. So where does this go now? You are looking to make criminal referrals in the next week.
Yeah, so I would start with this. The mainstream media continues to ignore, I would say, the people who have been on the Russiagate fiasco for the entire time. I think they're listening. But what I've said, my major concern now is that the FBI and DOJ falsely claimed that this investigation didn't begin until late July. We now know for certain that that's not true. We're still trying to get to the bottom of that. Of course, there's still documents that need to come out, but we are prepared and are now drafting a criminal referral. As I think I said on your show a few weeks ago, we wanted to wait until the Mueller report came out so that we could just, if there was anything in there that might be of interest. But I think we're prepared now to at least submit our first criminal referral. We think it will grab everybody that we need to grab to make sure that there's a proper investigation done, or at least it's our referral over to DOJ. We can't force them to do an investigation, but we think we will give them the appropriate names and some of the crimes, there may be more, that have been committed. And then as we continue to get more information, as more information comes to light, we may have to supplement that down the road.
This is absurd. I mean, and this is coming from a Republican. Look, I don't have much love for Hillary Clinton, but think about how many times they investigated Hillary Clinton over Benghazi. So to have members of the Republican Party argue, oh, they put Trump through this unfair investigation, and then they're calling it an illegal investigation. Like nothing illegal happened in the investigation. They just don't like the fact that Trump was investigated. And by the way, at this point, do your victory lap, right? The Mueller investigation found no evidence of or no collusion. That was the outcome of it, right? During the election. Okay, but it's kind of incredible that just move on. You guys got it. Move on.
No, but that's the whole point. They don't want to move on, and they know that electorally they're in trouble. We'd said that before, and they put on a brave face. What do you mean? We just won the 2016 elections, and then they got their clocks cleaned in 2018 in the House, a historic defeat for the Republicans. So they're in a panic. So what do? If you can't win in a democracy, well, you put on the brown shirts and you go out there and talk about rounding up your political opponents and putting them in prison. So I told you that they would do that, and here they are on national TV calling for that. So if you're wondering, well, wait a minute, it seems like both sides investigate each other, and I guess if there's a crime, you go to prison. And so what's the difference here? Let me be clear. Okay, so first, to Anna's point about Benghazi, if Obama had come out after the first Benghazi investigation was over, and I believe they did 9 of them. That's what the Republicans did, 9 Benghazi investigations, okay? If after the first one he said, see, I knew it. You found nothing, which is true. And if this was a witch hunt and a hoax, I'm now arresting everyone that was involved in the Benghazi investigation. People are like, what are you doing? That's insane. You can't do that, right? And instead, he let them do 8 other Benghazi investigations. And they all found no criminal wrongdoing at all. And there was no repercussions, there was no anything, okay? Now, on the Mueller case, not only was it not an illegal investigation, but this is how you do it right in a sense. Look, I wish that Mueller's investigation was broader and not just about the election. That's why I clarified it a second ago. It appears that it was only about the very narrow time frame of the election. But they gave the guy a job, and so I'm not criticizing Mueller in that sense. They said, look into if the Russians meddled in the election. He looked into only if the Russians meddled into the election. And then he found out, put aside obstruction of justice where he thinks there might have been a crime. He said in the case of the collusion, it appears he concluded from what we know now that there was not a crime during the election. You see, that means it's not a witch hunt. He looked into it, he was overly careful, very narrowly tailored, and came to the conclusion that no, I don't think this rises to the level of a crime. That's how you do things the proper way in a democracy and in a fair system. You don't just go and arrest people because you don't agree with them politically. You do a legitimate investigation to find out if they actually broke the law or not, right? Now, when you turn to the Republicans, they go, oh yeah? Well, now that you guys investigated us, I'm gonna hand in a list of names. You just said it, you heard it yourself. I'm gonna hand in a list of names that I want the Department of Justice to go investigate and potentially arrest.
It's crazy.
It really just is. It should be just rested. There's nothing else to say. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, guys, this is super dangerous.
Yeah.
It's incredibly dangerous, and they're brazen about it. They're in the past. They're like the Dick Cheneys of the world would move the chessboard around and manipulate the bureaucracy, and he would lie in a sophisticated way but appear to stay within the system. Now they're like, we don't care about the system, and so I'm gonna give you names of people that are my political opponents, and I want the Department of Justice to arrest them. That's insane. And how can you call the Mueller investigation an illegal investigation if it, as you claim, it exonerated you? What kind of an illegal investigation that's a witch hunt says you didn't do it?
Right, take the victory.
Yeah.
But it is the game. It's not, Nunes cannot possibly care whether these people are A, investigated, and B, found out to do anything but their jobs. He can't. It's really just to sort of continue this circus and the sort of the tension around the other side of this into the elections, and it's boring.
Yeah, but it's also, I don't know. On the surface, it seems like, oh, this is just another political stunt. It's boring. But I feel like during the Trump administration, I've learned to not underestimate who these people really are, because they've shown over and over again that they're willing to do anything and everything, and they are willing to move outside the system. I mean, sorry, Jake, but I mean, just look at the immigration issue. Trump has completely ignored our immigration laws pertaining to individuals coming in seeking asylum, and he's decided, no, I'm just gonna detain everyone who's seeking asylum, period, right? Yeah. And I'm gonna take the children away from their mothers. I mean, he's, again, ignoring the laws that we already have when it comes to dealing with this situation. Now, that situation is not as extreme as what Nunes is calling for, but there's no limit to how cruel, unethical, and undemocratic they're willing to be.
Look, the problem that arises when fascism begins in a country is that the system plays by the rules and the fascists do not. And that is a very dangerous situation. So Mueller played by the rules and came to this result. And the Nuneses and the Trumps of the world looked at it and go, thank you for that gift, you suckers. And now we're gonna round you guys up. So who are the potential people that they're gonna round up? James Comey, former head of the FBI, James Clapper, Andrew McCabe, another FBI official, and John Brennan. These are people who ran the CIA, the FBI, our intelligence operations. And what do fascists do? You get rid of the people who could enforce the law against you. And do you play fair? No. You lie and you call things witch hunts and you call them illegal. And do you do fair investigations that are narrowly tailored? No. You come up with an enemies list and then you arrest them. And then you say, oh, no, I look, they were targeting me, I targeted them, even though those two things are completely different in the way that I just explained it. And so that's it. Now, since they lost, now I get to arrest them. But that's not how a democracy works.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
So I think that the system is incredibly naive, thinking that Trump and all these people believe in democracy and believe in our checks and balances when they believe no such thing. We have to be extraordinarily careful here with what they're gonna do next.